there. Hey, hi everybody. It's Becky from Power Tools with Thread. And I am working on the classic Christmas truck from Hoop Sisters. Thank you for joining me. We are live right now. It is November 21st, 2 p.m. Central, and we're live. So if you are stitching along with me, then that's great. I have got links below to the design itself. Let me move this over here so it looks nice and pretty next to me. To the design itself and to a fabric kit if you want yours to look like mine, not like this one because that was my test. But Two Chicks Quilting out of Grenada, Texas has a kit. And you can put then yours will look exactly like the one I'm making. And if you missed yesterday, I highly recommend that you go back and look at that video. I'll link to it right up here when I get finished doing this. And that way you guys will be able to take a look at it. So yesterday we stitched some of the blocks on a single needle and everything turned out fine. And there was a couple of things that I neglected to mention to you yesterday. The directions call for you to use a water-soluble thread. And if you choose to do that, this is Vanish by Superior Threads. Okay, you can do that. You do not have to. So I have chosen not to use the water-soluble thread, and everything is turning out just fine. So you use what you have. To me, because it's a wall hanging, I'm really not going to be throwing it in the washer, so I don't see the need. I'm just going to put a piece of little paper tape on here, and that's going to keep that end down. And they also want you to stitch in the ditch when you finish the whole thing, and you will go on all these blocks. And you can see it better from the back. Let me pull this down so you can see it better from the back. There. So now you can see where all the stitching in the ditch was. Okay. We've got a small crowd in here today. I think everybody's getting busy with Thanksgiving prep, right? Okay. Also, a note, I was talking about a metal stand for my metal frame hoop pieces for the brother frame, and my metal little stand here wasn't holding up very well. Well, it was operator error, y'all. I was putting the thing on backwards. This is nice and sturdy now. You just have to, follow directions. Anyway, so if you are going to be doing a stitch in the ditch with mono poly, not Monopoly, this is in my Amazon store. It is also by Superior Threads. I wind a bobbin with this and put it on top as well, and it stitches just like regular thread in my standard sewing machine. So I put it into my NQ 3700D and I stitch with that. And a very cool thing I did was I put on each one of these pieces. So I did a quilt sandwich. I put the backing down, I put some more batting, and then I put the top on top of that. And each one of those pieces, I put some Sew Tights HD magnets. And they held so good through the whole thing, so I didn't have to stick my fingers. And those are on sale right now, a Black Friday sale. I've got a link to it below. And they are 15% off. But if you use my link, you get another 15% off. PTWT15 is the code with my link. And I'd appreciate it if you guys are interested in doing that. Okay. So today we're going to be doing work on the multi-needle. And this is Spanky. Yes, I am a professional. So anyway, this is Spanky. This is my PR 1055 from Brother. So I want to show you what I have been working on. Yesterday, we started the blocks around the outside of the project. So we did this one and this one yesterday. And I wanted to do these outside blocks because they are easier than the inside blocks, all right? And one of the things that I did was I went into Embrilliance embroidery software, and I've got a code for Embrilliance below. Oh, let me double check. I'll put that on here in just a second. So there's a 10% off code for Embrilliance. If you don't have embroidery software, or you do, and it is hard, because embroidery software can be hard, but Embrilliance is not. So what I did is I put 2 at a time in my hoop, and then I did a color sort. And what the color sort does is it stitches all of the same color at the same time. So I made sure the placement line for the fabric was the same color, and so it stitched placement line, placement line. Then I made sure the tack down line for the fabric was the same color, and then it stitched tack down, and then and by color, not color on the machine, color in the software. That's important. And I did a little video of that this morning explaining how that is done. So if you're new to color sorting, I should have that out to you in the next day or so. But so it was so easy for this to do it. Instead of it stitching all of this design at one time and then jumping over and repeating it over here, it just went 1, 2, 3, 4, blah, blah, blah. It was great. And it was done in just a couple of minutes. Very, very handy. I did the same thing here with these pieces. All right. Yes, you certainly can. You can put multiples in one hoop. Absolutely. Let me turn my laptop so I can see you guys as well. Now, when you color sort in embroidery software, that works on a single needle or a multi-needle. But especially if you have a multi-needle, you want to do that because it just saves an enormous amount of time. But in addition to time, you are saving stabilizer. So I only needed to stabilize a hoop one time, whether you're using stabilizer or battleizer, right? I only needed to do it one time. You're saving batting if you're using batting or battleizer. You're saving it all. And you're also increasing your productivity. You just cannot beat doing a color sort if you are going to be doing this project. So does anybody have a multi-needle? Sing out in the chat, or if you're watching on replay, put it in the comments below and let me know if you have a multi-needle. Now, one of the things I talked about yesterday was how forgiving machine embroidery can be. If you're brand new to machine embroidery and you make a mistake, you guys, I've even had massive bird's nests underneath my hoop and still been able to finish a project. Really, the only thing that derails a project is when the hoop comes apart. If the project comes out of the hoop, it's over and you need to start all over. So it's hot. I got all these lights here, you guys. I want to show you this. So I was doing both of the, we had some drama. So I've got some thread in here. I was doing both of these. This is where the mirrors are, but I can't see the mirrors. See that? They're right there. I decided to use a metallic. Well, I started it. And after I cut away the extra of the fabric on the red part of the truck applique, I just walked away from it, didn't even think and go back and look. It started the silver very nicely right here in the red, but I wasn't paying attention when it finished out. So I can't see my mirrors. Well, I'm not taking them out, all of them. I'm going to take out this part right here on the red. And I want to show you how to remove stitching in embroidery. There are all kinds of shavers and electronic gizmos and lots of stuff like that. But if you don't have one, it's really, really easy to do. And I'm glad this happened. I didn't want it to happen. I didn't plan for it to happen, but I'm glad that it did because I want to show you how easy it is to remove embroidery stitches. So I'm going to get a seam ripper. Hold on a second here. I'm going to get one of my husband's seam rippers here. Sells these in our store. This is very sharp. Now on the back of the project, whenever possible, remove stitching from the back so you don't mess up your pretty fabric. I don't have glasses on my head. I have some right here. Hold on. I got to be able to see what I'm doing, y'all. We just got back from a meeting probably an hour away and had to go see the lawyer, finishing up the trust. It's done. I brought it home. Yay. So, all right. When you remove stitching from the back, oh, you guys have the multi-needle and you love it. Excellent, excellent. So to remove stitching for you noobs, I'm going to take the little pointy part. So yesterday I mentioned what a good healthy stitch looks like. You will see how you can see the two lines of the red and you can see the white in between. The white is the bobbin thread. That's a healthy stitch. You've got about a third, and a third. So, or your bobbin stitch might even be a little bit wider than the other two colors, but you need to see all three colors on the outside, or all three colors on the back of the thing. All I'm going to do, and this is metallic thread, okay, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to just cut the bobbin threads. So I'm just going to take my seam ripper and pop it right underneath into those bobbin threads, and that's all I want to cut. All right, let me do this without poking a hole in it, y'all. I'm going to put it down. I can't do that up top. So I'm going to put you down here and let you watch what I'm doing. Let me move my keyboard. Right, so I'm just going to take this and just run it right through the bobbin threads, just like this. And this is easiest way to remove stitching. Okay. And on this particular project, it's okay if you cut into the batting a little bit, not a big deal. Let me do this one. I don't want to do that toward my hand. I'll stab myself, won't I? Okay. So I'm going to show you. I'm just removing these, and I'm not going to remove the mirrors themselves. So now I'm going to take, not this because I don't want to put stress on that tip, but I'm going to take my little stiletto and I'm just going to scrub on the top, just like this. Or you can use your fingernail and it'll come up, okay? Just like that. And I've got the lion's share of it up already. That's simple. And it is the least destructive method for your fabric. This happens to everybody, so you guys just need to, know how to do this, and don't freak out when this kind of stuff happens because you can fix it. And when I get done with this, you're never going to know that there was silver under there instead of the gray that I'm going to use. I guess I did not get deeply enough into these stitches. Okay. On the back of embroidery, you'll have knots and you'll have little ends. You can cut those knots if you can get a hold of them. I have taken out more embroidery threads. My goodness, you guys. Okay, so I'm going to do this from the front. I'm going to be very careful to make sure not to put a hole in my red fabric. You want to try to get as much of it off as possible. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use my other thread the color that I'm going to choose a darker gray, and I'm just going to stitch right over the top of it. And you probably won't even see it. This metal thread, this is King Star Metallic. It's something else. It's good, but it's hard. One of you asked me, sent me an email about, you know what, Gayla, I'm the same way. If it wasn't for having to do the tutorials for my single needle users, I rarely use the luminaire. The PR 1055 has a camera in it. It's got design center. It has all of the things I love about the luminaire, with the exception of that giant hoop. So I did use it when I was working on the chicken salad quilt. Where did I get my seam ripper from? Lucia, my husband makes these. They're in powertoolswiththreadstore.com. And we're usually out of them. He's going to put another batch of them on the store site in all different colors to get ready for Christmas. But we have a few in there now, I think. Come on. There we go. And it's wonderful. They have a nice heft to them. And they've got a groove in them so you know which end is which. And they're really good for arthritic hands. And there's no two alike. You know, we've had these on the store site for several years, and we just sell out of them all the time. It keeps him busy and gives him a vested interest in the channel. It's kind of nice. That's good enough right there, I think. I'm going to get my tweezers and pull this up. There we go. Like I said in the blog post when I talked about this, if anything goes wrong, you guys are going to see it, but it's okay. It's annoying, but it's not something that you can't. Now, you will notice I've got a gap right here. I trimmed off that and should not have, okay? So I should have left that fabric right there on that side and this side, but I was so flustered about getting this fixed, I wasn't thinking, and I just cut it off. Again, not a big deal because this has got to be in the seam allowance. But what you do is, whether you have stabilizer or battleizer, whichever one you're using, just cut that to be what will function as your seam allowance. So all is not lost. Okay. Again, tedious, but it necessary evil, you guys. This is how it goes. Okay. I've got some fuzzies I need to get rid of. I know you guys are tired. Is there a difference between the 1055 and the PR 1050? There is, but it's not a lot, I don't think. Do you have the 1050? Marsha, I don't think there's a lot. You still have the camera, right? And you've got design center. The hoop sizes are the same. I just happened to get this one right when the 1055 came out. But I mean, there might be some more designs and some more features, but I wouldn't drop another $15,000 on one. You know what I mean? I mean, you could trade up for sure if you wanted to, but I don't know. You might call your dealer and ask. Before you trade it in, go on to eBay and see what they're selling for on eBay. And that's what your dealer will give you. Make sure they give you in a trade. Take nothing less, because your dealer is going to look at eBay and they're going to say, okay, this is how much we'll give you. We won't give you anything more than what is being given on eBay. That's a little trick I learned. So anytime you're going to trade in a machine, go look on eBay, see what you can get it for. And then make sure your dealer doesn't take more than you could sell it for there. If they say no, then it's up to you to have to decide what you want to do. I've still got some knots on there, but I'm going to leave that. All right. So wasn't that exciting watching me pick out embroidery thread? All right, I'm going to put this back in. On the PR machines, I like to use Filtech magnetic bobbins. This is the bobbin right here. It has a black side. That is a little magnet. And then it has the like the aqua colored, that's the top part. And I put a drop of oil in here already this morning, and I will do another block and show you how to set it all up and program it. But right now, what I'm going to do is put a new thread color in here. Get my camera to stand still. I chose this gray. So this is what I'm going to use for my mirrors now. All right. So what I normally do when I am changing threads on these machines is I will get a whole bunch of thread from the back of the spool that I'm going to change. And I make sure the end coming off the machine has a very long tail. Okay. Then I'm going to put this. Let's see. I don't want to get it all tied up here. And I will just take these two ends, and exactly like I changed threads on the single needle, I'm just going to go ahead and twist them up, do a single knot, okay, and drop that down. Every single time I change a single spool, at that moment, as soon as that is tied, I will go down here and reach in front of the needle and unthread the needle. And I grab the thread and then I pull it through until the knot comes through, and I let it hang there. And then I will change all the threads that I need to change. But as soon as that knot is tied, I will pull it down and let it hang there. And then on these machines, the reason I do that is because if I don't do that, then I'll just get to going and forget that there's a knot that I need to pull through, because that's how I roll. So on these machines, let's see, let me back up just a little bit. I've got I'm going to hit the hoop with 2 needles and go to number 8 and needle threader button. And I just put my finger underneath the little hook, cut, and thread. All right. So now what I want to do is I want to go back. I want to show you on the screen how this works. If you ever get one of these, this is pretty cool. Okay. I hope you can see pretty well. All right. I want to do, let me go to embroidery. Okay. I want to stitch those mirrors. So I'm going to go to the needle plus minus, and I'm going to jump ahead to the mirrors. I think that's, and I can tell by the preview right there, those are the mirrors that I've got. And that's fine. I want it to start right there. I'm going to tell it okay. And I want to go, I wonder if I can do, no, I cannot. Okay. So that's all I want to stitch is the mirrors. Everything else is done. So I've told it number 9 on here. That's from the previous programming that I did. To change the 9, I need spool number 8. There is a spool with a magic wand right there. I'm going to touch that, and I'm going to tell it 8. Okay. And that's it. I'm going to tell it okay, lock, and go. And now it's going to stitch out those mirrors in that darker gray thread. And I will worry about any kind of metallic that goes in there later on. I hope the camera is going to take out that noise in the background. I know you guys don't want to hear that. So it's got a noise reduction feature. There'll be a little bit of silver popping through there. I don't care. It'll be fine. All right, what are you doing? Oh, you're not late, Lynn. You've been making pumpkin pie. I've got to make some. Yeah, I've got to get some done. So, yeah, hit the thumbs up, y'all. I mean, why not? Thumbs up for watching me pick thread out. Does the scan cut? No, ma'am. Okay, Nancy, this is a good question. Does the scan and cut that's on sale interface with the Luminaire like the 325? No, ma'am, it does not. You need the My Connection feature on the 325 and the luminaire for them to talk together, okay? The My Connection feature is not available on the SDX85. So noisy. I'll tell you, Spanky was working today. Oh my goodness, it's hard to talk to you guys with all that racket in the back. This thing, I had him running constantly doing this other one. You have the PR620, Eileen? So those of you that have multi-needles, do you use them? Have you, oh, thank you, Mary. Aren't you sweet? You're so nice, thank you. What a nice Thanksgiving present. Do you use your multi-needles, or are you afraid of it? I know people who have purchased them and they're just like, oh, and I understand that. I sat and looked at mine for about 3 months before. Oh, that's much better. Oh, I like it too. It's got the silver in the mirror. Let me show y'all. This turned out really good. Can you see it? My cord's holding me up here. I don't know if you can see it. I'll take it out here in a minute and show it to you. Look at that. Didn't that turn out great? I like it. I'm glad that happened. Yeah. Okay. Whoa, my camera's all over the place. This is hard. Live. This is why. I'll show you guys. This is why it takes forever and a day to edit videos. Well, I'm glad, Janet. She says she just got done practicing on stitching with one of Keith's seam rippers. That's sorry, but it did a good job, I hope, right? Yeah, I like that silver with the dark gray a lot. It looks amazing. If I had to do it over again, I would catch it and stop it. And let silver stitch, maybe even just on top of the gray. Stitch the gray first and put silver on top of it. It looks great. Looks just like chrome. All right. What do you guys got going on? Marcia. Oh, yeah. Okay. The biggest problem with the multi-needles is it's too heavy to carry in for servicing. Oh, your tech doesn't make house calls. Yeah. That's unfortunate. It is heavy, I know. This has had to have service in the past, and it is being able to reach out to Jason and have him come here to the house is a godsend. So, all right, now I'm going to stop this because we are all done with this particular block. I'm going to show you guys. Look how this turned out. Isn't that nice? Those turned out great. Yeah. Oh, Nancy, you have the 650, but it doesn't have the auto blade feature. Right. That is the old CM 650. I used to have one of those. That's a fabulous machine. You just have to do your test cuts. That's all that's involved with that. Yeah. So, all righty. So now I've got 2 more pieces left to do on the sides to be finished with those. The outside, I have 4 more, but all of those don't have a whole lot of stitching left. Now, let me tell you why my fabric ran short here on these, okay? I don't have seam allowance on these pieces because I cut my background fabric widthwise instead of lengthwise. Don't do that. I was on the phone yesterday with 2 chicks going, I'm an inch short. But it was my fault because I should have cut that 4.5 inch strip lengthwise. It's fine. No big deal. So again, I will use the stabilizer and or battleizer as the seam allowance. It's all the same because when we stitch, we're going to stitch and hide that edge right there. I did use some Sulky's KK2000 adhesive spray on the back of the fabric to make sure it got right in there. So yeah. That blade feature, that auto blade feature is nice. I think once you get used, well, see, with me, I don't cut a whole lot of stuff on the Scan and Cut. Speaking of which, if you want to get into the Scan and Cut Create box, they have a couple of spots left with Amy Sews. So I can link to that below if I haven't already. But okay. So let me do some more cutting for stabilizer. Okay. I've got this big old roll. I could use the matter of fact, I have battleizer. It's just an old habit, but I didn't cut it large enough for this particular hoop. So I just lay this on top. Okay. This is a hot mess, my table, y'all. This is what my day looks like when you guys aren't looking. I decided on my sample to use green thread for the trees because here's a block. I used white thread and it was very hard to see when you get away from it. So I went ahead and did that. And let's see. Oh, man. So. Brenda says she and her seam ripper. Oh, wrong one. Sorry. Yeah. Ripper by Keith. Jack and I are close friends. Yeah, the clover trick is handy. Okay. That's that Wonder Clip. Yep. We've started putting little rubber dots on them. They're adhesive dots, and those prevent them from rolling around as well. Okay, this is ready to go onto the machine. All right. The one I want to work with you guys today is this one. And this big centerpiece can be confusing because it's lots of layers and lots of different pieces. Now, what they do in this design is they will have all of the placement lines, and they just expect you to lay a piece of fabric over the placement line, remove the hoop, and then trim it away. Easy peasy on a single needle, but on a multi-needle, you've got to remember to program in a stop so that the machine knows, when to stop, right? Okay, I've got to do some thread color changes here, and I need to, for this one. All right, my thread for the grill is number 10, and my thread, let's see, white is number 6. This one is the darker fabric for inside. Now, this is my fabric. The kit I received a couple of weeks before they shipped out yesterday from 2 Chicks didn't have the darker fabric. So I called her and I said, hey, put another piece in there. She goes, okay. So yours will have the fabric in it, but my fabric is going to be different than yours. And then the red, so I need to put a darker red thread. I've got that right here. That's the one I'm going to use for this. And then I've got to put on the blue for my gift. Okay, and that's the blue I'm going to use for that. All right, so I'm going to remove, what am I going to remove? I need the dark green for the tree. I'm going to take away, this is what takes a lot of time, right? Thinking ahead, getting everything straight. Okay, I'm going to cut that one, not using the metallic, and I'll put the darker red on there. Yeah. But when you pull this up in the screen and you're looking at it, you're like, and I'm going to rely on you guys. I'm going to read your comments in the chat. Tell me if I got it right when I program it, okay? All right, I just switched out number 9. So I'm going to go here, go to number 9, and I'm going to pull the thread all the way out, thread it. And then I'm going to remove the, let me see. So this is the fabric for the bumper. Do I want that one? That's a little bright. I might go ahead and use that darker gray. I think that will look okay. Yeah, I'm going to use that instead. Okay. See, isn't that easy to be able to on the fly? Oh, I think I'll do this. And I don't need this very light lime green. So I'm going to cut it. You always pull the tail from the spool you're pulling off and make it long. You're going to make your life a lot easier when you do that. Okay. I don't use spool caps. Do you guys like spool caps? I don't fiddle with them unless I'm using a horizontal spool of thread and it might have, you know, a nub or something in the plastic on the spool. I generally don't use spool caps. All right, and that is number 2. Another thing Jason told me when I thread this thing to run the thread around the tension cap, the tension disc 2 times. So I've been doing that ever since and it does fine. All right, let me show you my screen. What do we got going on here? I'm glad you learned your machine, Marcia. That's wonderful. All right. So here we go. Oh, let me get this right for you guys. I'm looking at my laptop to see what you see. Okay, very good. Yeah. I do. Diane has said I almost always use King Star metallics. Yes, you always want, that's to me, my machine loves it. I have 0 problems. Okay, I'm going to hit home. I'm going to tell it okay to cancel the current selection. Needle threader error. Oh, okay. Did I not? See, I forgot to push the button. Smarter than me. All right, I'm going to hit the wireless. I sent them over here wirelessly using the design database transfer. And I need to find the one that's got the window on it. And here it is. Okay, tell it set. And edit end. All right, here we go. Now, I want to let you guys know. Let me see if you can see that bottom row. You can. Okay. I am able to manually change my thread colors using these 3 spools. If you go into settings, and let me page over, and all machines are going to have this ability. You just have to know where it's at on yours. Let's see. I'm going to get here in a minute. I'm sure of it. It's on page 7 on the Brother manual color sequence. I have it on. If yours is off, your 3 thread spools will be grayed out. Okay, so make sure manual color sequence is on, probably on the 1050 as well as the 1055. You're going to have that. I'm going to tell it okay. All right, I'm going to hit my 3 spools. So what I'm doing now is whatever these colors right here were set by the digitizer and they're not correct. Okay, I put my colors that I want on the back of the machine. So we have spool 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 across the back of the machine. So when you are on a multi-needle, these are the color stops, and these numbers are the spool number that the machine is going to use. So these 2 columns of numbers right here correspond to the spools on the back of the thread, back of the machine. This is your preview window. We have 1 of 21 color stops. I have a hand to tell it stop. I have a do not stitch, and I have okay. So what I do with this, let me see what we got going on. Let's see. Okay. What metallic did I use for the mirrors? Oh, okay, Kim, great. All right. Yeah, King Star. It looks like this. That's King Star metallic. Okay. And you get it at Designs and Machine Embroidery. They carry it. They're the only ones that carry it. Okay. So number 1 is the placement line for the fabric if I was stitching on battleizer, which I am. I guess I can put a piece of battleizer on there. Let me go ahead and do that. That's going to save me a step. If you are not using battleizer, then you will use your needle plus minus and you will go backwards one and repeat step one so you can get your placement line on top of your stabilizer. So I have put a piece of battleizer in the hoop. All right. So number one, I want that to stitch on spool number, let's see, do I have 3 pulled through? I do. Okay. I want that to stitch spool number 3. It's a really, really light not metallic, really, really light gray. So I just hit the 3. Before it goes to number 2, I want the machine to stop so I can lay my fabric down over that placement line. Okay. So when I go to color stop number 2, and you can always tell where you are by looking at these numbers right here. Before it stitches, I want it to stop. So I'm going to hit the hand and tell it to stop. This machine doesn't read stitch, then stop. It reads stop, then stitch. So if I put the hand here, it wouldn't work because it would stop before it got started, and that defeats the purpose. All right. I want that to stitch on spool number 3 as well. Okay. And I'm not going to cut away the background fabric, so I don't need it to stop before it goes to the next stitch. That is the placement line for the blue present. So I want that to stitch on spool number 2. Okay. And then these are placement lines for the there's little tiny bits of white that are right up here in the upper corner. And I want those to stitch on spool number 6, those placement lines. This next, it's very tiny and it's very hard to see. Those are actually background quilting marks on top of that white fabric. So I need to put the fabric down. So before it stitches, I want it to stop and I want it to stitch on spool number 6, which is white. Is that right? Am I doing my background quilting? Yeah. That's a white fabric for the center. That's right. Okay. I'm going to go to the next one. This is the tack down for the blue present that's up at the top. Okay. Before it stitches, I need it to stop so that I can lay my fabric down on top of there. And I want it to stitch on spool number 2. Number 7. This is a placement line for the red truck fabric. Before it stitches, I need it to stop so I can trim away the blue fabric from around the present. See, you got to kind of think step by step by step on how you're going to do this. Let me go down to the next one. All right. So this is spool number 4 for the truck. That's the truck placement line. All right. These are little edges of the blue present. Before it stitches, I need it to stop so I can cut away the truck fabric. And it needs to stitch on spool number 2, the blue. All right. And that is the top of the truck. That's going to be spool number 4. That's a satin stitch. Here are the placement lines for the window fabric and the grill. And that is going to be, I'm going to do that on spool number 9. All right. This is the bottom half of the grill, the bottom part of the grill, the top part of the grill right up in here. Or the bottom, I can't remember. Anyway, we're going to stitch that on spool number 8. Before it stitches, I need it to stop so that I can put the fabric down. And then on this one, before it stitches, I need it to stop so I can trim that fabric away. Okay. This is where it gets confusing. So what you have here is the inside of the truck and the inside, the back window to be able to see through. So that inner piece, these are just placement lines. I'm going to let that stitch in 9. All right. This is the tack down for the inside window. I need it to stop so I can put the blue fabric down, which is the inside window. Yes. And that's going to stitch on spool number 2. Okay. I need it to stop. This is the trunk of the tree. Oh, I need a brown. I got to put brown on. So I need that to stop so I can trim away. Okay. And the brown is going to be spool number 10. Let me change that right now. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll print out the design from Embrilliance, and the second page of the Embrilliance stitch out, the first page you get when you print is the design itself with a crosshair. And then the second page you get is a color stop listing. And I'll use that as kind of a roadmap. All right, I'm on color stop 14. I'm going to go back in here and I'm going to go to 10 and change out my thread color. But I will write in my stops and everything that I need to do on that page. It just makes it easier. And I'll write my thread spool numbers on it. All right, let me go back. So this is going to be spool number 10. And that is spool number 7. Okay. This is the inside of the truck. I need it to stop. I think that's a satin stitch. I'm trying to remember when I cut that away. Uh-oh, I've gotten lost. Whatever it is, it's going to be on spool number 9. I'm going to put a hand there just in case. Some people put a hand on every single one of these to stop it just so they make sure. Y'all, that defeats the purpose completely. Oh, did I do that right? That's the final all-around stitch of the back window. That's going to be, yes, in 9. Okay. That is the placement line for the vinyl. I need it to, I'll let it go ahead and stitch that in the red. Is that right? Nope. Oh, let's see. Are y'all following along? Okay. So let's see. I don't have the instructions printed out with me. Let me see where we're at. So that's 17. That's my steering wheel. I know that's in 5. That's black. Where is the, there, that's the vinyl. Okay, I need to stop on that for sure. All right. There's my tree. Okay. This is, see, it's not to scale and it gets very confusing. So that needs to be on 9. Yeah, that is the placement line for the vinyl. That's fine on 4. And then it no, the vinyl does not go down. What is that? Do you know what that is? I'm going to do that in 9 as well. We'll figure it out. If it's wrong, I'll stop it and fix it. My steering wheel, then my vinyl. I need it to stop. Move that. I need it to stop before it stitches that so I can put the vinyl on there. I need it to stop. Well, this is not going to get in the way of the vinyl, so I'll just leave it there. I'm not going to put a stop on it, okay? And that's going to be in spool number 8. And then this is going to be spool number 9 as well. And that's it. Okay. I'm hoping. Did that sound right to y'all? This is the hardest block in the design. It really is. And that's why I wanted to go over it with you guys. So it might be better if you can print it out, if you have the ability to print that out and kind of go over it if you've got a multi-needle, because there's a lot, as you can tell, a lot of pieces to this. Well, I will babysit it and make sure that it is doing what I expect. But, all right, do you guys have anything? I'm asking. Nope, seems like you guys are, I don't see anybody going, no, you messed up. We'll just go through it and have it do its thing, right? So here we go. Everywhere I didn't put a stop, this thing is going to jump ahead and do what it needs to do. And that is the best thing about the multi-needle. Plus, it acts almost like an industrial machine and you don't have to fiddle with it. So I'm going to hit embroidery and lock and go. And it's just going to do its thing. Oh, I got my blue thread hanging around there. This is placement line for that truck fabric. I told it to stop so I could put my fabric down. And I'm double checking to make sure I've got even amounts, top, bottom, side to side. It looks good. Now it's going to tack it down. It's going to work out just fine. June, you just got back from the quilt shop. What'd you buy? Uh-oh. That's what that is. That's that tack down for the wool that I'm not using. So it has started doing its thing. I'm going to stop it. I'm going to go lock and scissor. I forgot to tell it do not stitch that particular one. I'm going to jump into needle plus minus, and I'm going to go ahead one. Okay. That zigzag stitch will not be seen. It stitches in the seam allowance. So this is the placement line for the gift that you can see on top of the truck. And these are the little white pieces. Welcome, Carol. Very much. You're welcome. Yeah, again, not a whole lot that can't be. I told it to stop so I could put my pieces down. So I'm going to put this piece right here and this piece right here. Okay. Very recoverable machine embroidery. And so many people are so afraid of it, and you don't have to be. You certainly. Oh, you know what I did? Look at that. So let me stop it. See, this is where it gets confusing. I'm used to a placement line and a tack down. I'm going to lock this and cut it. I'm showing you literally, this is how I do business, okay? And it's easy to make mistakes and figure this out. So that was a tack down that I should have put fabric down before it's stitched. So I'm going to go, let me take you over here and show you. I'm going into needle plus minus. I'm going to back up. One more. All right. Now it's going to stitch those little squares again. This one does not give you the tack down, the placement and a tack down. I'm so used to other digitizers that do that. This one doesn't do that. And that's why it's confusing to me anyway. Okay, now I'm going to trim away the outside of the block. What do I do with my trimming scissors? There we go. Yeah, this is what I had to put it into Embrilliance when I did my test, and I was like, what? What am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. It does give you step-by-step instructions. But even those, I looked and I looked. I was like, I don't understand. So I was glad to have done the test just to make sure that I could do it. I had some semblance of an idea of what I was doing. Even though these can't be seen, you know they annoy me, right? That's fine. I'm going to leave it. You won't see it. Okay. Now it's going to stitch the background quilting inside of the white. Sorry for swinging y'all around without any, no ma'am, I don't have any SF101 on the back of this fabric because while there is heavy satin stitching, there's not a heavy fill. And the Battleizer actually does a really good job of holding the fabric stable. Okay, now it's going to sew the present. I think that's the right one. I got two different pieces of this fabric. Yeah, that's the right one. What do we got here? Okay, I need to trim this away. We're fixing a spin. Close your eyes. All right. Oh, I was reading that the best advice from me is to mark the front corner of the stabilizer. I was like, what is she talking about? What she's talking about is on this particular machine or any machine where this hoop can go in this way or this way. It does not make a difference. It is always handy unless it's obvious to you. Sometimes it's not obvious that you want to write front right here. So you don't put the hoop in backwards because I've done it. And if you notice, so this is the dime monster snap hoop. I love this magnetic hoop. Back up just a little bit so you guys aren't so close. And next we have the, oh my goodness. I'm trying to remember what that is. That is, I want to say it's a placement line. I guess it's the outside. I'm going to go get the paper and see. Which step was that? That was 8. So this is 8. So that one was 7. And 7 is, oh, okay. I got you. Okay, that's right. Okay, so now it's going to stitch the threads for the packages on the top. I've got the directions pulled up on the computer across the way. And then the next step, it's going to stitch the top of the chart. See, I didn't have to change my thread color. Isn't that handy? I love it. Is that? Oh yeah, I trimmed it close enough. Okay. Well, hi Betty. Thanks for joining us. Yes, Sharon, you absolutely can. You certainly can use polyester. Something there. Huh. Something went wrong here. I think I should have that white on there. I didn't do it before. I don't know why. I'll fix it. Not a big deal. You guys, when you're doing embroidery, Sharpies are your friend. You'll get things that jump around. They don't look right. It'll maybe leave a thread or something that you didn't want. Maybe some threads get kind of, maybe some threads will get, or fabrics will get fuzzy underneath and it's a color that pops out you don't like. You can always use a Sharpie, a permanent sharp marker, and color that in. This is totally different from quilting, completely different. Yeah, that's the strangest thing that happened like that. I've got white threads poking out and blue. I don't know why. Strange. Huh. Oh, go on until that finish. Okay, I've got to do something else here. I need that red fabric back. Where's my extra? Where is it? I don't know if you guys saw what happened, but I think I put the red fabric down too early and it did not cover like it is supposed to. So again, operator error. I do this all the time. I wander around lost in my sewing room. There's my extra fabric. I'll be right back. Let's see if I've got enough. What do you think, Frito? I don't know if I have enough or not to fix that. I don't know. Nope, I sure don't. I don't have a wide enough piece. I will take care of it. It's rainy and cold in New Jersey. Oh, that's too bad. Oh my gosh, Allison, I hope you're doing it on a single needle. I've got some work I'm going to have to do here to put that down. Yeah, I see. Not that big of a deal. I can certainly take care of it. Yeah, the single needle, you will have more opportunity to get it straight. I'm just not sure. So what confused me on this, you guys, is I'm looking at this block, okay, and I'm looking at it like right here, right? So all that we have is this red fabric. So why? I got it in the right order yesterday or the other day when I made my sample, but I didn't get it in the right order this time. Why? Right? And it's because this design doesn't use a placement and a tack down. There's an assumption, and it's in the instructions. And if I'd have read the instructions, right? Okay. I can certainly take care of this and fix it, but I wanted to be able, and I don't have the right red. Nope, I don't have enough one way or the other. I've got a lot of red fabric around this room. Let's go see what we got. I'll just stare at my light for a second here. Let me move this. There. Let's go see what we've got, huh? I'm going to take my red and come over here and look. I got plenty of reds. I don't have a lot of solids. That's kind of one of the problems, is not having solid reds. I'm not a fan of solids. It's not my favorite thing to grab. There's some that's pretty close. It's not exact, but it is close. So I've got this. See? Real close, right? And so let me see. I think that's the only one I have that'll work. Okay. I need to go back to step 7. That's where it all went south. Okay. Yeah, you got a new stellaire. Good, good. This is much less confusing on a single needle. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, let me show you. I'm going to go back to step 7 on the screen. Okay, needle plus minus. Okay. This needs ironed. Bear with me, guys. I should never embroider live. Oh my goodness. Doing it live is hard. Okay. And it is going to stop when it gets done. Right? See, I'm just going to put this right over the top of it. Yeah. Then I'm going to trim it away, I think. So step 7 says to place fabric right side up. It's going to do that. Leave excess on outside of truck. Okay. Again, very recoverable. When things go wrong in embroidery, you can always fix it. The only thing you cannot fix is when it pops out of the hoop. Now it says to leave the excess on here. I'm going to hit stop right now, or it's going to stop anyway. Okay, now let me remove this so you guys can see. I am going to, that's what I was looking for there. Yes, okay. I'm going to take off this up here at the top. Okay. I'm going to use these scissors and I'm going to trim this here. There. All right. Now I'm ready to do that full heavy satin stitch across the top again. Needle plus minus, and let me jump to it and find it. That's it right there. Okay, right? Yeah. Easy peasy. All done. So that's the thing, when you're making, when something like that happens and you have to put multiple layers of fabric on it, nobody knows, just you. Again, this is not quilting, so there's a lot of ways that you can work around stuff. So, yeah. Well, you like seeing it live, Becky? Well, it's stressful for me. Put a piece down wrong, it's like, yeah, she knows what she's doing. You just have to laugh. But it's things like this that teach you not to freak out when stuff goes wrong in the embroidery room, because it happens all the time. And like ML Weber says, we've all been there. Yeah, it happens. But it's good when you've got that kind of confidence that if it goes wrong, you can fix it. It might take a couple of steps or something like that, but there's nothing wrong with that. It would be fine. That fabric is so close. I think it'll be fine. Yep. Becky says, been there, done that. Sure. That definitely is part of the embroidery journey, is you're going to make mistakes. And then you just, oh, okay, I get it. Unless you're doing a Kimberbell project and you're reading it step by baby step. Yeah, that's... Or me time, don't forget about that. I gotta go push up my instructions so I can make sure I see what I'm doing right. I'll be right back. It's going to sew the placement stitches now for the grill. That's the placement for the vinyl. Okay. Okay, and then the instructions say to, I need to place, let me double check this and make sure I'm right. Place the grill fabric right side up and sew the tack down, and then place the darker fabric right side up. Okay, so the grill fabric is going to go, let me move this. Yep. Okay, the grill fabric's going to go right here, like that. And the darker fabric, which makes it looks like you're kind of looking inside the window, is going to go right there. Okay. Now it's going to sew the tack downs. All right. It stopped because it wants me to trim this away. I'm going to trim away both of them at the same time. Oh, Holly, bless your heart. That, I'm glad it was a blank. Oh, speaking of which, I got the, I talked to Susan from allaboutblanks.com. She got the code working on her website. What are you doing? Oh, hold on a minute here. And that's a placement line. Okay. She got the code working on her website for my coupon code. You're supposed to stop. PTWT10. You can get 10% off at allaboutblanks.com. So they have the best quality blanks. They're hard to come by because she sells out of them constantly. And she does a lot of trade shows. So she is, that was a placement stitch. Yeah. So she takes them off the website or doesn't even put them on there and takes products with her to trade shows. But the stuff she does have on her website, you can use my coupon code PTWT10. I don't get a commission off of that or anything, but it's just something she's doing for you guys. So if you want to get stuff from hers, I love her towels. I like her pre-done towels that already have like pretty, you know, like buffalo check fabric on it already. Something like that on the edges. All right. So there's the inside window. And I need the back piece of the gift right there. That's a tack down it's going to stitch right now. I guess I got it right. The thread color is correct. Yay! That is the back of the blue present that you can see through the window. I'm going to remove the, I'm going to trim around that piece. I'm not going to turn you guys. It'll be just a second. What size curved scissors should you start with? Get the larger gingham. You see a couple of sizes in my Amazon shop. These, I think, are the 7-inch, 6 or 7-inch. Those are the ones you want to start with. You can use those for everything. I have purchased other size scissors over the years, but when I am going to be trimming, like in applique, like I am right now, it's these. Okay, so let me see if they've got. These are like, I think they call them 6-inch. These are actually like 5.5, maybe a little 5 3/4. Okay. Another thing, when you're putting this on, it's real easy to not pop in one of these little deals right here. I'll show you. I'll get up close. If you ever get a multi-needle, okay, it's really easy to not have that locked in, and that will change the registration on your stitch. It won't work. You need that popped in like that on both sides. It's very important. Take it from one who knows. Why didn't that stitch right? All right, time for the trunk of the tree. You can see through the window. Yeah. Okay. Oh, good. That's wonderful. Thank you, Holly. That's very nice of you to say that. Yeah. There was a lady at Lone Star University. That was at All Brands in San Antonio. And it was, showing you the new machines that were out and whatnot. I did a lecture demo on the way I do applique. And she was going to buy a 6 needle. And she seemed pretty on the ball. She was an Air Force retiree, comfortable with technology and all that. And she said, oh yeah, I'm going to get the 6 needle. My husband's, he's on board and da da da. And I said, don't do it. You're going to outgrow that thing in about 4 minutes, okay? And you're going to have buyer's remorse. If you can swing it, get the 10 needle. You're going to be really, really much happier with it. And she was like, really? So she had to go home. She talked to her husband. She came back the next day. She said he said okay, but she's the one dragging her feet on the cost. Once again, that's we as women going, well, I don't really need it that bad, or I can. No. We've given so much to everybody, all of our lives. It's our turn, right? It is our turn. So, what do you got here? Totes and pillows are not like Kimberbell. Oh, okay. Yeah. Who's that, Bernadette? Who are you talking about? I missed something in the conversation. Yeah. Well, now, quote maker, right. I don't usually buy solids either. I will buy blenders all day long. I'm just not a fan of solids. I don't know why. I was for a long time, but then I'm not a fan of them. I do like grunge too. I like the weave, this kind of thing. I love these, right? It's not grunge, but I just buy blenders is what they call that. Love them. Oh, also, I'll let you know, the black, if you get the kit, the black on the tires, I would recommend doing a gray thread, because I started with black on this one, on my sample. I started with black fabric and I actually ended up stitching over it. One of these has got black underneath. And I went to a dark gray blender with black thread, and it turned out really, really nice. Okay, so I would recommend using a dark gray thread so that you can see the tread on the tires, because black on black, it didn't show up very well. Just FYI, piece of advice. So, let's see. Oh, all about blanks. Oh, I see. Totes and pillows are not like Kimberbell. I see. I get it. All right. What do I need to do now? That is the satin stitch on the window. Right? I think. We'll hope. Yeah. Satin stitch on the window. So we put the tree in the back of the truck. And I used the dark red thread for that. I wanted that not to be real bright. On this one, I did the blue thread on the sample. On this one, I'm doing the dark red that matches the interior of the truck, the darker fabric. It certainly is your turn, Janet. That's right. It is your turn. We were talking this morning in the situation room about using Synchrony and 0% and figuring out how much that is a month. When you're looking at these kinds of things, I get so much joy out of this. I mean, I spend 8 to 10 hours a day in this room just doing what I do. And it makes me get out of bed. I'm excited about what I'm going to work on next. And it's something I just really super enjoy, and I get a lot of love out of it. So besides, I would do this even if I didn't have the channel. I just love making these things. And so when you get to that point, and you have to have a love of it when you're looking at buying a $15,000 embroidery machine, right? I know there are other manufacturers I've seen, like I know Sunny Fox, I think she has a 16 or 17 needle. She's got one of those Tajimas, so she's happy with it, runs great. I've had other companies, Rico, reach out to me. They want to give me a machine to make so many videos a month. I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. I love my brother machines, and I'm very happy with them. So sometimes I have needle envy on an embroidery machine. Sometimes I do, because I've done many designs where it's more than 10 threads. And so that's when you get into where I didn't buy, it was given to me. This is from Laser Bee Studios, okay? And this is, it comes with a black, it's got a erasable marker, right, that you can write on in here. And when I've got more than 10 threads, that's where I break out this thing. And what I'll do is I always make sure that my threads that are on the outside of the machine where I can get to them easiest are the ones that are going to be changed. So noisy. Yeah, those are the ones that are going to be changed. So, goodness. Very loud, doing the big understitches for a satin stitching. Okay, so when those are the ones that are going to be changed, I will take this board, and whichever one is going to be changed out first goes in spot number 1, right? So I'll just continue to do that. And on this machine, I use spool 1 and 2, and I will change those out as needed for things. But this is how I keep them in order. And then also underneath, what I do is I print out the color stop page from Embrilliance, and whatever color stop that is. So like let's say this is color stop 17, then I'll write a 17 on here and put my spool in there. I'll color stop 20, I'll put my spool in here. Color stop 30, I'll put my spool in here, like that, okay? That's how I do that, and that's how I keep all that straight. So these are wonderful tools from laserbeestudios.com. I understand that they're local to our area, so husband and wife team, but I keep that down there all the time for that specific purpose. Also, I have one of these clear bins right here. If I have other spools that I'm going to be using, what I'll do is I'll take the bin and just start pulling colors and putting them all in the bin, and then bring them over here and put them on the machine. So kind of a process, right? Those are just little tips that I do, guys. That looks really good. This is looking great. See that? Well, hi, Ann. Glad you joined us. Yeah, this is an excellent. Mark Kesselport says you use your grandmother's 6 or 12 month and 10 pounds. Perfect, perfect. Those are great. Then you can use those sticky notes to write on there what color stops they're going to go into. So that works really good as well. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, the birthday was great. We went to a luau, and that was the big deal for my birthday. I took a bus tour on my birthday. Thank you, Anne. And then we went to the luau that night. It was a lot of fun. I need to pull up a video and show you guys while we're here. Let me see if I can pull it up. I don't know. Let me see. This particular computer would probably want me to sign in, of course, right? Yeah. I don't know. I have never. Oh, let me see here. I've got some videos. Oh my word. I can't remember my iCloud password. You know, because it's always in your phone and it just remembers it for you. I have to find my phone. There it is. Technology, you guys. My goodness. Okay. I gotta figure this out. Sign in with my Apple ID. Yeah, I'm a security professional, or I was at one time. Let me see. I can't even see this, y'all. Oh, what are you doing? Stop. Oh, that's the steering wheel. Okay, good. It's like I'm doing what you told me, right? I want to show you guys a video from the birthday. Do you want to see that? Right? Yes, very good. Okay, I got a verification. Apple just pinged me. Make sure it's me. Trust this browser. Very good. Okay. All right. 19, color stop 19 is where we're going to put the vinyl on. All right. I have an extra piece here of some Bianni vinyl. This is 16 gauge. This is the same stuff that comes in your kit. So I'm just going to pop this. Now, be sure before you put this on to take a look. You don't have any little threads. Okay. See, I've got some threads. I don't know if you can see them that are, they're blue and they're sticking out up there. So I'm going to try to trim them, or I'll take a Sharpie to them and trim them up. Okay. So this is really important. This is, I learned this from Kimberbell to do this part. I'm just going to get my scissors, my tweezers, and pull up. And if it'll come out, that's even better, but it may not. But you don't want to have a piece of white up under there. It's going to stitch it down, that vinyl, and you'll be like, oh, to make you crazy. And that would probably, in your mind, ruin your project, right? Nobody wants that. No extra anythings. Okay, so I've gotten as close as I can, and I still see some blue. So I'm going to use a dark red Sharpie, and I'm just going to touch up that blue thread a little bit. And turn it purple. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay. I'm happy with that. That looks good. All right, so now we're ready to stitch on the vinyl. Make sure there's no dog fur under the vinyl or thread or anything like that. Oh, I've got some up here I don't like. These are actually going to be to the outside of it, these little threads. It's going to stitch right on top of this heavy satin stitching. So you could probably take care of any little things that you don't want on there afterwards. I don't want to take any chances. Let's put that right there. There we go. Okay. Okay. Jason says he loves using this stuff. He loves it when his customers use his stuff. Because if you do a lot of it, it can put little, the needle will get really hot and shove little pieces of it down inside the machine. But he said this is not, because he looked at the sample and he said that's not enough to make a problem. That looks good. Yeah, so let's get back to what I was going to show you guys. Let's see what we're doing over here in the studio. Yeah, dog hair is a fashion accent. That's right. How funny. Yeah. Yeah, I've been doing this live for 2 hours. I know. What was the name of the ruler? And where you get them putting your binding on with your long arm. So we have that in our store. That's a ruler that I actually designed myself. And let me show you where you can get it. I'm going to pull up my store site. Okay. All right, and let me come over here. I'm going to share my screen with you. There it is. Okay, so let me see what you got. I want to see, yeah, you can see what I see. Okay, so just, you want to sign up for your email address to go in here because you'll get all kinds of goodies. When we do sales and freebies and stuff like that. Okay, so this is where you go. We've got t-shirts, seam rippers, USBs, and here is the ruler rack my son makes, extra seam ripper ends, and here it is right here, the groovy long arm binding ruler. So right now we have 2.5 inch strip bindings. I have one for 2 1/4 inch strips and one for 3 inch strips, but I haven't got them listed. If you want that, email me and I'll put it on the store site. And right here, there is a video to show you how to use it. So that's what I was talking about. So, okay. All right. So, we're getting close. Being done. Yeah. So I wanted to show you guys, let's see. I'm going to go to my iCloud and go to my videos here. I want to see if I can find, maybe I don't have it, or maybe I put it up on, let me see. Yeah, there it is. Oh, I want to show you guys this. This was cool. Yeah, I got pulled up on stage. Keith said, oh, it's her birthday. Pull her up on stage when you do a group thing, right? So let me share that with you. So this is me. I think this is me dancing on stage. Is it gonna run? Let's see here. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Oh, that was fun. And then they also have, let me see if I can go back. I want to show you guys this. This was excellent. How about that? That was amazing to watch. Absolutely amazing. It was awesome to watch you guys. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, it was. It was so much fun. Fire dancers are awesome. Yep. Hey, we're to the last stitch. Look at this. Oh, I got all kinds of fuzzies. I am so not used to using applique that does not have heat and bond light on the back. That guy, the hula guy, he was trying to get me to do what he was doing, and he was making his knees go. My knees don't do that. It's so funny. Oh, we're all done here. Okay. Okay. So this is what I was talking about. I've got some more fuzzies right here on top of this stitch. I'm not used to that because I usually have heat and bond light on the back of my applique fabrics, and I don't get that. The edges are kind of sealed when you do that. So now we need to trim away the back window. So let me get you down here, and I'm going to use my curved scissors again. And it says to leave a 1/16 of an inch. Again, when you're using these scissors, put the flat part down. You want the center of the scissor down flat, and that will prevent you from cutting the threads. If you cut the threads a tiny bit, it's all right. Don't die over it, as Jenny Doan says. It'll be fine. You want nice, smooth cuts so you don't have jagged. So see, guys, I even put a piece of fabric down before I was supposed to. Just go back. Do it again. No big deal. And it all worked out. I actually like the red here around the blue better than the blue that I did on the sample. Now that luau was awesome. The food was okay. I'm not a huge fan of some of the food. I'm not a huge fan of fish to begin with. So, all right, I'll eat it. But. All right, so this is it. We're done with this block. Now, let me show you. I'm going to show you how to cut this, okay? So you want to get one of these. It's called a trimmer by George. And the trimmer by George has a metal lip edge on it. It has a 90-degree lip. Can you see that? To make sure you can see that. Okay, there, it's easier to see it there like that. And what you do is you pick up whatever's going to be your seam allowance. I've got 2 colors. That's okay. All right. And you put this with the edge, the metal edge, right next to it and fold it over. And then they recommend the 60-millimeter rotary cutter. If the 45 Olfa will not work, and you'll be like, that's not cutting. Well, what's wrong with that? So we've trimmed away batting and stabilizer all at the same time. Okay. Then what you do is you flip it over and you just lay it down like this, and your numbers are straight up to you, and you can see your 1/2 inch seam allowance. Just like that. Okay. All of this fabric, you guys, I could even do this, actually. I could do, yeah, I'm going to leave this on because I trimmed this away on the side. So I'm going to leave it on. That's going to be something that I sew in. When you guys see this thing finished, you're going to be like, man, you can't tell that she made all those mistakes. Yeah. You just have to have some kind of seam allowance, whether it is the actual fabric or you've got I'm going to do this on this one. You've got some stabilizer or some batting or something like that to be this, to act as the seam allowance. It does not have to be the actual fabric because it's going to be all sewn inside. Okay. Okay, there we go. And let me show you. So now that's what let me turn my light back so you can see over here a little bit better. Okay, so that's what it looks like. Nice and neat. And on the back, look how precise the batting and the stabilizer are trimmed because of the trimmer by George. This thing's worth every penny, okay? It is well worth your while and your time to get this. Now, if you use steam on this thing, when you go to press it out, you're gonna get steam under the window. Don't worry about it, it'll dry. It'll all evaporate because it's open on the back, right? So, yeah. There's our hard one done. All the rest of them are a breeze, you guys. It's really easy to tell what's what. So, all right. Well, this has been a lot of fun. It was a lot of work and we got a lot done. So I'm going to continue making the blocks for the rest of the day. We'll situation room tomorrow. And then hopefully by tomorrow afternoon, I've got all the blocks done. And tomorrow at 2 o'clock, we can put everything together. All right. So good. Yeah, I didn't like the poi either, Debbie. I tried it. I did try it. It just tastes like tasteless baby food is what it tasted like. It was fun. Yeah, that was it. So, oh, good. Yeah, this has been a fun day. So thank you for being here. Hope you learned from my mistakes. And you have also learned the concept that everything is recoverable in machine embroidery and you can do it. Okay. All right, y'all. It's almost happy hour. We'll talk to you soon. You guys go sew something. Bye.